and currently I'm working as manager in Microsoft, taking training for KSR for the last 5 years.
Now, as part of data engineering, the next thing which you're going to learn and which is next to our agenda as a part of the subject, we're going to learn about Python. We're going to learn about Python. Now, I want to hear from each one of you. Have you ever seen a Python snake? Okay. Bangalore Bannerghatta Zoo. Okay, good. I've also seen there. First of all, we call it a snake, but why there is a snake, I mean, name called Python, anaconda, and what is this there? There are a lot of snake varieties, right? What is the difference? Any animal lovers? Anyone watches the Discovery Channel? Can you tell me what is the difference between different type of snakes? Anyone? Poisonous and non-poisonous. Okay. Well, from my childhood, I've been taught that's a snake, right? But slowly when I move up the ladder, we also have a different varieties of snake, and one is python. Ideally, this is an animal, right? It's a snake. It comes under which reptile or I don't know, but yeah, imagine it's an animal. Now, why have they kept technology name is my question. Python is a programming language. And what we are going to learn, it's not about the snake, it's about the technology. Why the technology name is Python? Any guess? Why did they name technology name as Python? Why do you think they've kept the technology name as Python? I've seen in a lot of news and a lot of Discovery Channel. Okay, tell me at least true or false. Okay, I'll tell you the answer. Tell me whether it's true or false. Okay, Python, I've seen in a lot of movies, a lot of web series, and a lot of like YouTube channel. A python can eat one complete human being. It can swallow N, it can swallow goat, it can swallow one complete human being, right? We have seen in a lot of videos, this type of snake, which is very big, can swallow complete human as well. So relating to that, Python can swallow all the other technologies. It can eat Java, it can eat .NET, it can eat every other technology. So that is why this is superior. That is why they have kept the name Python. True or false? Logically, it's true, right? Logically, what I said, it's true. Python, we have seen a lot of times, it is actually eating like a complete goat or an hen, right? We have seen that. We have seen a lot of videos, and it can also eat the complete human being. But just like that, this technology is one of the best programming language which can eat all the other technology, and it can be famous. If that is true, let's go and understand what is this Python. Okay, actually the answer is false. Just because it eats of all the technologies, they have not kept this name. We'll see a bit of history about Python as well. To start with, we'll try to understand what is Python first. Then we'll see some history and the need of Python. And then slowly we'll move on to installation as well as working with our basic commands. Okay, so that will be the agenda. And to give you more context, this is a language that we are going to use it for the entire data engineering subject. And for that, we have choose one technology, which is going to be Python, right? Let's see what is Python. Now, Python is actually a general purpose high level programming language. Now, what is high level programming language? First, I need to understand that. And everyone should know. They may not ask in your interview, but before learning the subject, try to understand who invented this. Who invented this? Okay, so Guido van Rossum was a father of Python. So basically, they have introduced in 1989. in the National Research Institute of Netherlands. So just before, maybe I'm sure that most of you will be 89 born, 90 born, 91 born. Python and your age is almost the same age. Okay. So if you're born in 1988, 89, the age of the Python and your age is almost same. Now comes the answer for the name. Python is not coming from a snake, right? Python is not coming from the snake name. Python is actually came from a popular show which is called the Complete Monty Python Circus. So it's basically coming from a program. Okay, it's not coming from a snake. So don't think that snake, then don't think that the first slide itself I'm showing a snake. That doesn't mean it's a snake name. No, it's related to the name of the snake, but the actual name came from the Complete Monty Python Circus, which was basically a name of the circus function, or you can say program, where from there they have taken the name. Okay. Now, we should also know that Python is a dynamically typed programming. So this is self-understandable. This is self-understandable. This is self-understandable. But what is this? And what is this? These are technical words, right? Who invented Python? I have the answer. When it was invented, I have the answer. How did the name came? I have the answer. But for a couple of things which I don't have the answer is, what is this? What is this high-level programming? And what is this dynamically typed programming? Now, these things I need to find out. I'll show you one slide. You try to go through the both side. Okay, you try to go through the both side and tell me what is happening in this side, what is happening in this side. Tell me what is happening. Coming from a non-coding background, even if you're coming from a non-coding background, even if you don't know anything, right? The simple way to understand the high-level programming is, I will simply know that they're adding two numbers and they're adding A plus B and they're getting the results. And finally, whatever you're sending, it is getting printed. Anyone can understand what I have written this. Anyone. The person who understands English will get this knowledge. Yes, it's a very, very, very clear. Maybe don't think about the syntax right away on the day one. At least try to understand what I'm doing. This is called high-level programming. High-level programming is the language which is understandable by humans. Very simple. High-level language is something which humans can understand. And there is another language which is called low-level language. I don't know what is a start. I don't know what is this MOV. I know it is actually move. But I don't know what is this EX, EBX, move, XOR. All this is something which I'm not at all understanding. Something which is not understandable by you, but it will be understandable by machine is called low-level language. I'll tell you how it works. You take any programming language, you go and write something. If you're understanding what you're writing, it's called a high-level language. After writing the high-level language, your computer will convert from high-level language to a low-level language. From the low-level language, it will convert into a machine-level language, and then your code will execute. That is how it happens, right? So, ideally speaking, what will happen? You are actually reading a high-level language. You're writing the code in high-level language. Internally, it will be converted into a low-level language, and then it will be converted to a machine code language, and then your code will be executed. Okay, that means this is human readable. Okay, this is machines readable, system readable, and this is again system readable. So some of the programming you have to write in a low-level language, some of the programming language you have to write in human-level language. So what we are doing now, Python is a high-level programming language. That means it is human readable. I should have answered this in the start of the class. The prerequisite for learning Python. Should you be from a programming background? Should you have done any degree? Have you ever, should you have learned any programming language before, C, C++, Java? And is it something like a non coding background? Can I learn this? If you have all this question, one straightforward answer to you people is, if you know English, Python is easy. If you know English, you can write code in Python. And still, if you're asking, should I be from a programming language? That means you have not understood the statement. In order to learn Python, if you know English, you can write code in Python. Because Python is a high-level programming language, whatever you write, it is easily human readable. Someone has written the logic, you can go and understand, and then you can go and execute the code. So please, going forward, don't ask me the question, will I be able to master Python? Will I be able to run Python code? Will I be able to understand it? Very simple, straightforward answer. If you can understand what I'm speaking, if you can understand, if you can read a newspaper, if you can completely get through the English, Python is as easy as that. People ask me what is the prerequisites to learn Python. I simply say, if you know English, you can write code in Python. With that, let's move forward. There are so many programming languages in the market: C, C++, Java, Python, .NET. Why specifically we have chosen Python for data engineering? Why are we going to use Python for data engineering? One programming language is must, and the programming language which we have chosen is Python. Now the question to you is, why have we chosen this Python? We have something called large community. Large community. Now, what is a community? Most of you people will be staying in your flats. So in your flat, we have a community team, right? So any problem you go and raise to them. Think always data engineering is a Mount Everest. Think your data engineering is a Mount Everest, a mountain to climb. In order to walk to the Mount Everest, you have to make sure that the path is easy, because already you need to walk so high, very high altitude Mount Everest. So data engineering is really tough, where you have to do a lot of data cleanings, data transformations and all. Already the path is very difficult. In between, if you carry more luggages, if you carry all your items, what will happen? By halfway, you will collapse. So you are trying to make your path easier because the path is already difficult. In order to make my path easier, I'm choosing a programming language which is very, 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 very easy. And a lot of use case, lot of trouble, syntax errors, lot of repeated errors, we already know from the community. That is why we go and use Python. The first reason why we are using Python is already there are a lot of people who are helping us from the community for what type of issue, what we need to do, how to resolve it. So we have a larger community for Python. That's the first reason. The second reason, if you see here, for the larger community, I'm giving an example. How do you read one full line is a question. And already there is a two answers that someone has written. I just need to go and read this answer, get the answer. Automatically convert Jupyter Notebook to a Python file. Question has been asked. Already I can see the answers that has been given. I just need to go and get the answers. Now, this is what I keep doing it for every solution. Why are you worrying it? There is already answers, right? It's basically like you're taking up any exam and you already have a guide. You already have the guide, repetitive questions, answers, everything is there. You just need to go and clear the exam. As easy as this. And the main reason that we have a larger community to help, we already have a lot of questions answered. We just need to go and look for the right resource and get the answers. The second is very easy syntax. You need not struggle to write the syntax. The main objective of Python, it makes the users to implement faster, right? And the syntax is very easy. When we work with the Python implementation, you'll be knowing it better. So it's very easy. Okay. Now, the next thing is about the easy syntax. Just for a printing hello world, I can write it as hello world, correct? Now, I'll also give you an example. Why it is easy, I'll tell you. One of the always and evergreen programming languages, Java. No one can ever beat the language called Java. Even today, I'm very open to this. It's a most demandable language, Java. Then how it is compared to Python? For writing a simple hello world, the efforts that I've taken in Java is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines. Nearly 8 lines I have to write. The maximum I can write it in 8 lines. Let's say I put this bracket in the same line. So line number 1, 2, 3, at least 4 lines I need to write. 4 to 5 lines I need to write just for printing hello world or whatever word you want. You just want to print a very simple word hello world. You have to write minimum 5 lines. Now in this 5 lines, I don't know what is this hello world. I don't know what is this class. I don't know what is this public. I don't know what is this static. I don't know what is this void. I don't know what is this made. I don't know what is this ARG. And in that also I've written the bracket. I don't know what is this. What is this? Yes, system out print. I don't know whether it's 1 or L. It's 1 or L. I really don't know that. Right? And then again, I have to go and write class, main, method, print. Oh my God. Simply to write a hello world, I don't know anything in this piece of code. Though it looks like a low level language for me. I don't know what is happening. But the beauty of Python is if you want to print something, simply go and write Python. Print hello world, print Python, print welcome to Python. Whatever you want to write, just write the word called print. Now this print will actually help us to print it. Whereas if you see in Java, for just a print statement, I have to know a lot of terminologies and I have to write minimum 4 to 5 lines. This is a subject which I don't want to use for data engineering. I keep saying this, data engineering is already a tough subject. Why are you making it even more complex by implementing that in a complex language? Why can't we make it easy? Right? So with that, the conclusion of this slide is Python is very easy syntax. Python is very easy syntax, right? Now, let's talk about comparison between Java and Python in detail. Because always I'm saying Java is an evergreen, right? Since it's an evergreen, it is always required for me to compare it, right? Now, the first slide I've shown you that I was talking about the father of Python. That was correct. How did the name came? That also I told you. The two things which you have to remember is, one was Python is called a high-level programming language, and the other one was it is called a dynamically typed. Now we'll see what is this dynamically typed. If you're using a Java, Java is considered to be static type programming. Now, what is a static type programming? For example, there is a word that data I need to store. In the word A, I need to store data. Data is a word I'm going and storing in this variable. But what happens in the Java programming language or any programming language which is called statically typed? What exactly happens is, before assigning that variable, you need to tell what type of value will come and sit in this A. That means you need to declare the data type. If you simply give A equal to data, it may not work in the programming language, which is actually using statically typed. The reason is, before storing any variable, you have to tell them what value will come and set it. Will it come as an integer? Will it come as a string? Will it come as date? Something you need to mention so that the programming language will understand that, okay, I need to take care of the value. Simply, if you go and give A equal to data, it will not store. You have to tell what type of value I'm going to store. So that is where I'm first declaring the variable with the help of data type. So string A equal to data means I am telling that in the variable A, there is a string value that is going to come, and that value is going to be data. Whereas Python, why you will give all this? Yeah, you simply give data and you give B. I will take care of it. Why are you straining yourself? You're climbing a mountain. Why will I put burden on you? You simply give A equal to data. I will take care of it. Okay, you have given data, right? Okay, data is what? String. So I'll take care of A is a string. So you're giving B equal to 8. Okay, you're giving integer, right? So I'll assume that it's an integer. You need not declare a variable. I will take care of it. So automatically the data type getting assigned by itself is called dynamically typed programming. At that point of time, the data type will be decided, not before that. In Java, I need to declare it before. Before even I start using the variable, I need to tell them, boss, this is a string. This is a integer. This is what I have to do with respect to static type programming. Whereas Python says, boss, don't worry, you're climbing a mountain. Let me help you. I will take care of all this data type, small things. You don't think too much. You simply go and write the logic. So that is why your Python is considered as a dynamic type programming. What is dynamic type programming? Dynamic type programming is getting data type assigned at the runtime. Whenever I want, I can go and use it. Right? I keep saying this, even today, Java is evergreen. No one can ever come across the Java. Not at all possible. Java is always evergreen, not the Python, right? You may be asking, this is a Java session or Python session? You're talking more on Java. Well, honestly, I need to accept the fact that Java is the evergreen programming language. But why are we not learning? Why are we not learning? Well, it all depends on our use case. Our use case. Okay. Now, I'll tell you one example. You listen carefully. Okay. KSR is hiring one fresher. KSR is hiring one fresher. Okay. Fresher for what? That fresher should be very strong in mathematics, because we do a lot of calculations. We have to collect students' fees. We have to count it. Some students may pay in the installments, and we have to keep track of it. They have to remember when the student has paid the first installment, when the student has paid the second installment, first installment minus second installment. So all these calculations, the total number of students, how many students are like in the two batches, how many students are attending morning, how many students are attending evening. A lot of questions needs to be answered, and we are expecting a person who has to be very good in mathematics. Okay. And also, we are looking for a top rank student. Every company, not only KSR, even if you go with a Google, Microsoft, Accenture, any company, they'll always try to hire who is a top rank student of that class. Okay. Engineering batch, they'll start looking at the marks, right? So similarly, this is a person A, student A. This is a person A, and this is a person B. Okay. So person A has scored science 100, social science he has scored 99, and mathematics he has scored 85. So the total score of him is 14 and 10, 18, 284. 284 out of 300. Okay. So the student A has scored 284 for 300. Okay. So ideally speaking, 284 divided by 300, the percentage is 94%. So this guy has scored 94% of marks. Okay. So person B, science 45, social science 55, mathematics 100. The total scored by him is 200 out of 300. Okay, 200 out of 300, and the percentage goes to 66%. Tell me, whom will you hire for your company? The role complete calculation related job. He has to be very strong in calculations, assuming that he calculates all the fees related, students count, everything he calculates perfectly. I don't want to make a single mistake in the data. I want to hire a person who's very strong in the calculation. Will I hire person A or person B? Whoever is saying person A, can you tell me why? Whoever is saying person A who will hire for my project, can you tell me why? I heard mixed answers. Some people saying A, some people saying B. Can anyone say who told me A? Can you justify? Okay, the people who said B, can you justify? Right. I'm looking for accurate results. I'm looking for accurate results. I am not looking, why will I go and use science in my KSR? Why will I go and use a social science in my KSR? Am I talking about geography, history, or economics, or whatever it is? Nothing. My only focus is calculation. 100% sure I will hire person B. The reason, let him score 45% or 50%. I don't care. I really care for this. I really care for this. Right? Now, person A is Java. Person B is Python. Your Java may be very, 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 very good for all the other things, not for data engineering. My entire scope of this course is trying to build a data engineering pipeline. I am not here to build a website. I'm not here to build a mobile app. I'm not here to build an application. For that, Java is top class technology. I have to accept the fact that your Java is the evergreen top technology to implement your applications, right? But unfortunately, this Java code is very difficult for the most important things: data science, data engineering, and data analytics. For these things, your Python is the good one, not the Java. Well, I'm looking only for data engineering scope. If I was here to build a website, undoubtedly I would have talked about Java. I would have implemented the Java. But here we are focusing on data engineering and data analytics. So ideally, the one which is best is Python. Okay. So you may ask me, web application you have written here as well as you have written web application here. So that means, can I build web application in Java as well as can I build web application in Python? Absolutely, you can do it. Okay. Yesterday, it was a Sunday. I prepared lunch in my home. Today, my mom prepared lunch at home. Both of them were able to prepare lunch. You're on the other side, without even eating food. Can you tell me whose food will be tasty? How? How did you tell this? Both can cook food, but cooking the right quantity, keeping the kitchens clean, and using the right vessels for right things, that matters a lot. But food everyone will prepare, right? Even I will prepare. By the time if I go and prepare food, the kitchen will be completely messy. Next time I will never even go and feel like entering it. What really matters is other things. Now, Python also you can build a web application. Java also you can build a web application. But the most effective programming language for web application is Java. There is undoubtedly, that's one of the best technology. You can use it for your web applications. That doesn't mean that without Python, I cannot do. With Python also, I can do it, but not up to the mark. The IRCTC applications, the ICICI Bank, all these are called net banking applications. I'll put it as enterprise applications. Now, enterprise applications, Java is the first preferred language, but here we don't have it. Well, keeping all this aside, the main thing which I have to use for data science, data engineering, data analytics, there is nothing as easy as Python. Always Python keeps saying, boss, you're already climbing a Mount Everest. Let me help you with the simple code. And that is why we are choosing Python. So even though we have a first rank student and a second rank student, ideally, I am preferring second rank student only. For my team, for my project, I'm not looking at the topper. I'm looking the topper in one subject, and that subject for me is data engineering. Right? So there is a lot of arguments between Java and Python, and undoubtedly Java wins the prize. Always Java wins it. But I don't care. I don't care whether you're first or second. What is my use case? For that, I'm using Python. So please don't start comparing your cooking with mom's cooking. Mom's cooking is always good. But sometimes you may be specialist in few things. That is what I'm looking for. So Python is what I'm looking for my data engineering subject. With that, let's move forward. So first thing we have seen is larger community. The second thing is easy syntax. So again, I started comparing with Java and Python, and then I've given you the difference. Now we will see why Python is more beautiful. Right? I know it can be used for data engineering, but why it is more beautiful? Let's talk about Python. You know what Python will do? You know what Python will do? Python is very clever language. Is a very clever language. Before that, I'll tell you what is a C and Java. So what is C? This C languages you would have heard about in your schools and colleges, C and C++. You would have heard about this language. So that's a basic language you will be seeing it. When it comes to C, the language C, every line of code will be executed sequentially, one after the other. Okay, you can never run line number 3 without line number 1. So first you have to execute this, second you have to execute this, third you have to execute this. So directly you can never run line number 3. It will not work. This is actually C. Okay, this is actually C, which is called a functional programming language. It's called a functional programming language. That means everything has to be a function by function, step by step process. You have to write the line number 1, then you have to write a line number 2, then you have to write a line number 3. It is a process. Okay, that's a property of C. Let's come to Java. So Java is called an object-oriented processing. So what happens in object-oriented programming? Ideally, if you're writing a block of code, you can implement it anywhere. You can call it anywhere. For example, yesterday I've written one code. Today I can go and call that code and I can execute it. It basically works as an object. And that is why even today, Java is evergreen because it works on the object level. It works on an object level. What is this object level? Definitely we'll be covering in the later part. But at this point of time, think that it's a block or a piece of a code that can be invoked anywhere at any point of time. That is oops. Right? Now, what this Python has done, already there is one person who is doing functional programming. Already there is another person who is doing oops. Okay. My dad is a chef. My mom is also a chef. My mom is very good at South Indian. My dad is very good at Chinese. At any point of time, I can't beat each other. If I'm competing with my dad will cook even better. If I'm going and competing with my mom will cook even better. So I was thinking, how can I be better than him? Definitely I need to be better, right? I'm the next generation for them. I need to be better than them. What I did is, my mom knows zero cooking on Chinese. My dad knows zero cooking on South Indies. They only know their own specific way of cooking. You know what I did? I want to prove that I am the best. I may not beat them separately with the Chinese. I may not beat my mom with respect to South Indian. But what I did, some things I learned from my dad, some things learned I from my mom. Now I am the only person in the house who can cook both. I may not be perfection in one, but I am the person who knows both. Who am I? Python. Python knows how to implement functional programming language. Python knows how to work with object-oriented programming. And that is why today we consider Python is also one of the best programming language, right? So what it is doing, it is taking some of the functional programming features from C. It is taking some of the object-oriented features from C++. And it can also write some scripting. Scripting means your computers will understand, like a low-level programming language. That also yes, Python can do it. It is also borrowing some of the features from Perl and shell scripting. There is another programming model called modular programming, where you'll be writing model by model. One model will access the other model will access the other model by model. That also we can write it. Well, in short, I can say that Python can do everything. It can do everything, but it is not best in even single one, right? Java is always evergreen for one. C is always evergreen for one, but I'm not maybe the perfect in them, but that doesn't matter, right? I need not prepare completely tasty food like them. If it is eatable, manageable, okay. But I'm the only person in the house who knows both. I'm the only person in the market, in the IT market, in the programming language who knows everything. It's none other than the most beautiful crowned princess of programming languages, Python. Correct? Now we have decided that Python is going to do everything for us, but ideally we will use it for whatever it is needed. We are not going to build a web application, or we are not going to build a mobile application. We are not going to write any scripting. We're not going to write any modules. What we are going to do is a basic programming language for most of the functionalities. And for that, I am going to use Python. Right? Now, this is all about Python. The next thing what we have to do is, why the next reason we are going to use Python. We have already discussed community. We already discussed easy syntax. And the next is, it's called open source. Now, what is this open source? If you want to write any programming language, first thing is you need an environment. Today, if I want to cook food, I need a kitchen. Without kitchen, how can I cook? Right? I need a kitchen to cook food. Similarly, to implement any programming language, I need an environment. I need a platform. If you take every other programming language, some or the other way, you have to pay some amount. You have to take the environment for rent. You have to hire the rent. But here, it's an open source. What do you mean by open source? Anyone can download in the system and they can start writing the code. You need not pay anything to the community. You need not do anything. You can simply go and write the code by yourself. And this is a most useful reason for why we have chosen Python. Again, Python is whispering in our ear, boss, you have a mountain to climb. Don't worry about all this. I'll take care of it. I'm a very easy syntax. I'll help you during your tough times. I'm the open source. You can install me on any mission. I'll be able to do it. I have a very rich libraries. I have coming from a good community. Please use me. And that's what Python is telling you in order to move forward for data engineering. The open source is making us even more flexible. You can install in any mission and you can start working with your coding. Right? And the next reason, very, very, very rich libraries. Very rich libraries. Today, if I ask you to write one book, write a novel, write a biography book, write a story book. If I tell this, how many of you will do this? Practically 0 people will do. The reason? You don't have patience to go and write everything right from the beginning. We don't do it. In my generation, there are a lot of people who used to write comic books and they used to write story books, novels and all. Nowadays, I can't even see a single person, but I've seen a lot of people still have the habit of reading books, right? Now, who will go and write every logic once again? We have something called libraries. In Python, we have something called libraries. In the last 20, how many years? 89, right? 89 plus 23 now. So almost 33 years, 35 years, sorry. In the last 35 years, the Python was introduced. In the 35 years, there is a lot of people who have already written the code for you. You just need to go and use the right code for your functionality. Imagine you want to build a calculator. If it is in Java, you have to write the logic right from the beginning. In Python, don't do it. Don't write it. Already there is a brilliant person who has written the calculator logic. You simply go and use it. You need not write any new book nowadays. If you want to get the different type of books, walk into a library. Library is a place where you'll have a huge number of books arranged in a different shelves. You can go and pick the right book for your use case. The most beautiful reason why are we going with Python is all because of rich libraries. Any logic you want, you will find it. Maybe if it is not there, it will still make your work easier by giving a reference code. Again, Python is saying, boss, you're going for a climb a Mount Everest. Don't write the code from scratch. I'm here. I can give you the list of functions that has already been used. I'll give you a rich libraries. Using these libraries, you can do all your functionalities. Thank you. That's what your Python is saying. It is not allowing us to write the logic from the scratch. So everything it is already present and you just need to use it. You just need to use it, right? And that's the beauty of Python. So talking about more, it is actually a larger community, easy syntax, open source, and rich libraries. You do have lot of libraries. All these are library names. You go and use the right library and you'll be able to implement it. You need not write anything from scratch, right? With that, we also have a lot of job opportunities. We have also a lot of job opportunities. The top two skills is always going to be SQL and Python. So in terms of job opportunities, we can also see that the more people are using, the more people, the more opportunities and the more companies are always asking for Python. You know why they're asking for Python? Keep the data engineering aside. Keep the data engineering aside. With Python, Python knows everything. Tomorrow, if there is any function, you know who will they take as a cook? It's not my mom, it's not my dad, it's me. Because I am adaptable, I am flexible. If you ask me to prepare South Indian, I can do it. If you ask me to prepare North Indian, I can do it. If you ask me to prepare Chinese, I can do it. Because I know everything. So forget about data engineering. Even if you want to build a web application or even any application, you can still build in your Python. Maybe it's not that effective, but something is better than nothing. Some sample application I want, always go and hire Python developers. So Python developers are like all-rounders. In a cricket match, right? In every team, if you observed, there is always a confusion whether to go with one extra bowler or one extra batsman, because there is only 11 people who can sit in a team, right? In that 11, either they have to choose 6 batsmen or they have to choose 6 bowlers. They cannot 6-6-6, right? They cannot do, because the maximum number of players in a cricket team is 11. So always there is a confusion between the coach and the captain. Should I go with an extra bowler or should I go with an extra batsman? If you take an extra batsman, your bowling will be affected. If you're taking extra bowling, your batting may be affected. That is why you can also see that always that extra person will be an all-rounder. I'm not sure if you have observed cricket. Every time there is always be a 5 batsmen and 5 bowlers, and that one person will always be an all-rounder. Who is all-rounder in Indian team? Who's another person? Hardik Pandya. So why they are in the recent series also, right? Hardik Pandya is like actually injured. So there is a lot of should I go with a team change? Should I affect it? Should I change the bowler? And that is why even Shardul Thakur has lost his place. Right? They brought in Shami, right? So there's a lot of like debating position. The reason is they always want an all-rounder. So tomorrow, if they want to build any web application or any scripting language, any modular language, don't go and choose their own personal language. Choose someone who knows Python, because the one who knows Python will give a lot of functionality to you. And that is why in terms of the job, your Python is always on top. The person who knows Python, never ever think about your layoffs. I'm not focusing only on the data engineering now. At a job level, your Python developers will always be in demand. So rather than thinking about data engineering, always try to show some interest to your coding language. It's very easy. Everything we are going to teach from scratch, but still try to learn more rather than learning only for data engineering. Try to learn more. Why? If not data engineering, I can still jump into any role because Python is future. With Python, you can do a lot of things, right? We can do a lot of things. And the job opportunity is also another reason why are we choosing Python. And the most important point is platform independent. When I say platform independent, you can run your Python code even in your Mac machine. You can run your Python code even in your Windows machine, and even you can run it in a Ubuntu machine. You take any OS, your Python code will work. That is why it is platform independent. Sometimes I was also a Java developer in my start of my career back in 2014. So I faced a lot of challenges when working with Java. Sometimes a Java code will not execute in Mac machine. Sometimes it will not execute in Ubuntu machine. So it's slightly there is some libraries or some configurations that we need to change. But coming to Python, never worry about anything. It's called as a platform independent language. That means you write it on any tool, your code will work. It doesn't depend on your OS. It doesn't depend on your OS, right? So this is about platform independent. Now, in terms of all this, and that is a reason where I'm going to use Python for my business. What's my business? Learning data engineering. Okay, so that's all about this. And just to summarize everything, why not Java? Why Python? Larger community, job opportunities, platform independent, easy syntax, rich libraries, and open source. All this is making me to use this. All this are making me easier to choose the subject, right? And the other thing about programming language, especially with respect to Python, it's readable, easy to learn, it's very free, open source. You can run on the any platforms, right? Some of the standard libraries are there. Memory management is there. In case of any errors, you can easily go and manage to exception handling. All this is features is making me to choose the subject, because I've already told you again and again, you have a Mount Everest to climb. Don't make your path itself is difficult. You have to go long. Okay, it's like a marathon. If you're running for a marathon, you have to run for 10 kilometers. First kilometer, don't try to run fast. Try to build your momentum. Go slow. Start increasing your energy. Start increasing your speed. Then only you can touch the 10K kilometers, right? It's not easy. If it's a short, maybe you can run it very fast. But you already have a mountain to climb. Let's look at all the features and take one step at a time. And that's why we have choosing Python. Okay. As part of this, we'll also see what are the applications. With the applications, you can build a web application, image processing, enterprise application, 3D, audio, business application, software development, scientific and numeric, and console-based and desktop-based. But mainly, I am using for this two. Some of the calculations I'll be doing, some of the numerical calculations, some of the scientific calculations, some of the business oriented. This are all comes under data engineering. Though you can do everything, doesn't matter. For me, what is really required is for data engineering, I'm using Python. Python is an ocean. I'm not going to learn entirely Python. What is required for my use case that I'm going to learn. So this is about the application of Python. And in the next class, we will see how to install the Python. For installing Python, you need something called Anaconda. So Anaconda is a software. With this software, we are going to run all our Python code. So we'll stop here with the introduction. We'll continue tomorrow with the installation, and then without any delay, we will start practicing our practicals. First 2 classes will be a bit of theory, and after that, everything will be practicals. Right from tomorrow's class, everything is going to be a hands-on practice in the class. No more PPTs. It's going to be only practicals. Okay, I'll stop here.